Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we have some more explosive updates involving the ongoing Gamergate situation. What began simply as a series of criticisms being directed at Sweet Baby Inc. has evolved into a much bigger situation as members of the related industries have come to their defense, and as we will learn in this video, there are also federally backed agencies coming to the defense of Sweet Baby Inc. Now, before we get into that, let's revisit this tweet from Alyssa, the Kotaku author, responsible for the article that was defending Sweet Baby Inc. She also made this tweet saying you can't be racist against white people. Now, we've seen other members of the industry come to her defense, like this Lalanders individual who said that community notes can be made up, and she's essentially implying that what Alyssa said is true. And we have learned that she is a narrative designer at Cliffhanger Games, and someone working on the upcoming Black Panther game that is yet to be released. Now, unfortunately for her, a clip of her has resurfaced on Twitter, where she openly and unashamedly claims that she will not hire white people because she doesn't want to be around them. Yes, this is a real clip.
I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me. And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because they think that something may be okay, but it was really a microaggression. And no one wants to deal with that while they're trying to make a game that they love.
Now, to the surprise of probably no one, if you visit her LinkedIn page, you'll find out that she was an employee at Sweet Baby Inc. That is not surprising at all. But going forward, this hyperfixation on hiring people based on merit and the delusion surrounding Sweet Baby Inc. defenders is best exemplified by this tweet and the following interactions based on it. So this individual says, "You know what's interesting? SBI haters are anti-woke and hate DEI efforts and want people to be hired on merit without considering the reality of bias in hiring. But then they call SBI racist for calling out that STEAM community leader because they were Puerto Rican." So before we analyze this tweet, I am very sure that this whole angle down here calling Cabrutus, a Brazilian man, Puerto Rican is supposed to be some kind of a jab or disrespect. Very weird stuff. But moving forward, a developer from Rough Paws Studio would reply with this: "I don't mind DEI as long as the end product, the writing, the characters, and the story are all good, but they never are they? People should be hired based on their talent, nothing else. I don't give a F what race, gender, or sexual preference somebody has as long as they make good products." That is a very reasonable thing for this studio to be saying. However, the OP here would strongly disagree. They would quote them saying, "You're a development studio saying this on Maine. Yikes." They thought this was an own. They thought this quote was an own. They thought they were exposing this development studio for saying you should hire people based on their merit, not based on the color of their skin. This is the level that Sweet Baby Inc. defenders will go. And I replied to this tweet saying the progressive is baffled by a studio hiring people based on their skill/merit instead of the color of their skin, where within 1 minute, the tweet was deleted, the OP blocked me, and then privated their account. That was a very fast tactical retreat on their behalf, but it just shows that they don't really stand by anything that they're trying to claim on Twitter, and the second they are pressed about it, they run. But moving forward, there were some other very strange developments going on over the past day or so. As pointed out in this tweet, we now have an involvement from Wikipedia. Wikipedia has entered the fray and is coming to the defense of Sweet Baby Inc. Now, if you look at their page, you can see the edits. There have been dozens of edits over the past couple of days, all of which are using games journalist articles defending Sweet Baby Inc. as their sources. If you go to the actual page itself, It reads like one of the Kotaku articles, at no point addressing the harassment campaign created by the Sweet Baby Inc. employee, and at no point addressing any of the racism of their employees or the other journalists defending Sweet Baby Inc. And you can read right here, you can pause for yourself. It's absolutely crazy. And the only sources they use are from games journalists covering the situation. It's very obvious what's going on here. Wikipedia is taking the side of these journalists and Sweet Baby Inc., and they're doing it completely mask off while gaslighting you and spreading misinformation about this situation. Remember this the next time you open up Wikipedia and they have one of those tip jars where they're begging for your donations or they're going to shut down. Just keep that in mind the next time you see something like that. But moving forward, it's not just Wikipedia. We have much more serious threats going on in this situation, as this tweet from Niche Gamer implies. There are now American tax dollars going to organizations who are defending Sweet Baby Inc. Yes, this is real. So you can see here, this organization called Take This is calling out the Steam curation group Sweet Baby Inc. detected and claiming that they need to be dealt with. This is an organization, if you go to their website, you can see they are funded by the Department of Homeland Security. We are literally dealing with feds at this point. These people are using American tax dollars and support from Homeland Security to try to take down a Steam curation list. That's how crazy things have gotten. And if you look at their official statement, they want to denounce Gamergate. So they're talking about Discord, Steam, and Twitter, and how they have been predominant platforms where the abuse and harassment has been taking place directed towards these developers. In these spaces, list of game studios, companies, and associated organizations are being circulated for targeting by members of the mob. As scholars and journalists have noted, the targeted harassment, hate, and cultural norms that were at the heart of Gamergate in the mid-2010s never went away. My God, how dystopian does all of this feel when it's coming from a federally backed agency like this? But anyways, a lot more talks about Gamergate 2 were elevated by this tweet right here. So this is simply a clip sharing a discussion between the former Blizzard employee Mark Kearns, who has the Grums at. We've covered several of his tweets in our videos about this situation, having a talk with Cabrutus and the Quartering about some of the basically in the know information about how some of these games are funded.
Even EA does this. I worked with EA. We were putting together a deal where they were taking bailout money from the banks in the last financial crisis that we had, and they were applying that cheap money towards games. Same thing with COVID money. They're applying that cheap money towards games. And what has been the cheapest money while interest rates were still low, a couple of years ago? It was ESG financing. And so they're going to take this money and they're going to put it into games. But now that they don't have that money anymore because ESG is either being diminished or rebranded because the returns on investment have been so poor on Wall Street for ESG funds, that source of revenue is drying it up. This woke machine cannot continue in the way that it is now for AAA gaming. And I think, unfortunately, it's so entrenched that you're not going to see much of an ability to course correct because the studios are
they're just going to shut down, right?
They're going to shut down.
Now, what made this clip really blow up on Twitter was this right here, a quote retweet from Elon Musk. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk has gotten involved in this situation. Of course, his involvement puts a huge spotlight on this clip and the related situations that it's talking about. Now, the coping and seething began immediately. There was a proposed community note saying this. This is a racist conspiracy theory, referring to the coverage of this situation by people like Mark Kern and Elon Musk simply sharing the message. Of course, this was a proposed community note. It was shot down and voted down and did not get attached to Elon Musk's reply here. It just shows the levels of desperation that these people are having. And you can see the coping reflected in some of the quotes. This individual saying, "This effing loser is going to amplify and boost these shitbirds into everyone's timelines. It's going to be worse than before. Of course, it's going to keep getting worse than before because a lot of the related parties in this situation, the games journalists, Sweet Baby Inc., and alike, will not stop talking. And the more they talk, the more people are seeing their true colors, and old clips and tweets are popping up and being used against them. They are quite literally ruining themselves by continuing to talk about the situation and to refuse to take any sort of accountability for the bad products they're making and also the misdeeds of their own employees and their associates. But here's another quote saying, games industry folks need to pay attention here because the conversations here are going to continue to drive much of the misinformation we see in the upcoming months and years. Get your social media and marketing teams prepared with the sea of nonsense returning post-Gamergate 1. Now, what I've been doing with a lot of these people, and it's a very good tactic if you want to use it for yourself, simply ask individuals like this if they support actions shared in tweets like this, where I have a screenshot of Alyssa's tweet about white people, a Sweet Baby Inc. Employee's similar comments about white people, slurs being said by another Sweet Baby Inc. employee, and also their wish to see Jewish people game ended, and also a screenshot of the original harassment campaign launched by the Sweet Baby Inc. employee against Kabrutus and his Steam group, where this individual from the industry replies saying, "This isn't the case, and therefore your question is invalid." They are saying that none of this is harassment and none of this is bad and an example of discriminating against others based on the color of their skin. Where another user would reply saying, "Yo, Khalif, are you going to answer the question soon? Are you trying to figure out how to move the goalposts and spin it back to victimhood?" Where he replied saying, "Oh, I don't support discrimination, and what was shared here isn't discrimination." Yes, everything I just talked about, these disparaging comments about whether it's Jewish people, gay people, white people, all of these comments and related harassment campaigns, none of these are discrimination in the eyes of individuals like this, Sweet Baby Inc. defenders. Really tells you a lot, huh? But moving forward, I would use this same tactic on another individual from the industry where they were saying, if you're harassing game devs and journalists because an individual developer called out an intentionally incendiary Steam group, then you really need to come back down to earth. A few people with large followings are stoking the fires for money and engagement. That's it. Where I did the same reply to this individual, where of course they would ignore everything, sort of, because they would make this absolute cope of a tweet saying, in quotes, "Do you support these screenshots? Why are you not responding? Why are you hiding? Who do you think you are? You think you're better than people," which, again, this is a lot of projection as well. Well, they say this, "I'm sorry, but there's literally hundreds of strangers with anime avatars in my mentions, and I'm grinding the Fortnite Battle Pass right now." And they say that also with the replies locked. I've never seen more coping in my life. This person's like a literal living meme at this point. But yeah, they clearly saw questions being asked by people like me, and instead of answering very simple questions like, do you support discriminating against people based on the color of their skin, they can't even answer, so they make these cope tweets where they're trying to flame people and mock them for having anime avatars and saying that playing Fortnite is more important than answering those questions, while they spend all this time and effort complaining about people asking the questions in the first place. It's mind-boggling. But really, that's where we're at this current time. That is the most recent update. And what's really shocking about all this is truly the mask-off nature of it all, where people, whether it's games journalists, Sweet Baby Inc. employees, or their defenders, they will just openly gaslight and lie to you right to your face without hesitation. They have no ethics. They have no self-awareness. They just want you to sit there and accept a false narrative about everything that's happening because they think you're stupid and you're gullible, and they don't even respect you as a gamer in the first place. They think you're less than. They think it's okay to lie to you. They think it's okay to mistreat you based on the color of your skin or your religion or other things like that. And it's honestly pathetic. And the more attention that's getting driven towards the situation, yeah, it's frustrating to deal with these people, but it's exposing a lot of them. And that's really the key in this situation, is seeing the mask-off nature and keeping track of who is doing this stuff and who is supporting Sweet Baby Inc. and their defenders. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.